Happy Wednesday, ladies, and welcome back to my podcast. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Victoria, and I am your host. And this space is all about growth, healing, elevation, and really stepping into the woman that you're meant to become unapologetically, right? And if you've been here before, welcome back. Y'all already know what to do. We're real, we're honest, and we're not here to sugarcoat anything. So, about today's episode, and this one felt like a little bit more personal, and I was going back and forth with how I wanted to present this one for a little while. And, I was just asking myself, like, do I want to talk about representation? Do I want to talk about becoming? Do I want to talk about healing? Okay. And so the truth is, even though those are all very three different topics, they're all connected. So today I wanted to talk about becoming the representation that she needed. And this is not just for the world, this is not just for the people that we come across on a daily basis. This is for the younger version of you and for the little girls who are watching you right now, whether you realize it or not. And so this is something that, like, as I've been growing, like through my entrepreneurship journey and just in my 30s, you just reflect a lot more. And I look at who I was when I was 6 and, all this not just energy, but like personality, and how it just, the biggest smile, like I was just always happy. And then, there were moments that growing up, you're sad, whatever. And just thinking about like what she was thinking about in those moments, whether good or bad, and just how proud and really surprised I feel like she would be of me today because like I shock myself and I know like God's not even done with me yet, not even close to being done. Um, but you know what I'm saying? We're here. So if I'm being honest, everything that I'm building right now, everything that I'm working through, everything that I'm healing from is not about who I am today. But like I just said, it's about the little girl that I used to be, the one who didn't always feel seen, the one who didn't always feel secure, the one who had questions that nobody could answer, and then the one who had to figure things out on her own. And I know I'm not the only one that can, relate to that. I feel like that's something that we all go through at different seasons of our life, whether it's when we're like 7, 8, whether it's like our teenage years, whether it's our 20s, to be honest. Like, I feel like I lived in my 20s not seen or heard, kind of just fell in the shadows. And I never am the loudest person in the room. I'm never gonna be the one to make a scene to get attention. I'm just gonna kind of like lie low, you know what I'm saying? Lie back. And that's just who I was. And even with me like evolving to who God wants me to be and in the forefront, like I'm still not gonna be the loudest person in the room. I'm gonna be me at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So just really self evaluate yourself. So, the first point that I want to talk about is we're healing her in real time. A lot of what we're doing today as women, it looks like it's ambition on the outside. On the outside, it looks like goals. It looks like us opening businesses, leveling up by getting degrees, getting our lives together. But if we really sit back and be honest, and we have to be honest with ourselves, ladies, a lot of it is healing because we're becoming the reassurance that we did not always have. We're becoming the protection that we didn't always feel, the confidence that we had to grow into, and the stability we had to build for ourselves. So we're not just chasing like a better life. We're creating a version of life that younger us needed to see. And let that sit. We are creating a version of life that younger us needed to see as that representation, right? And so the second point is representation starts with identity, not with image. And I think sometimes when people hear the word representation, they think about what it looks like, whether it's titles, money, success, or image. But if you really sit back and think about it, the real representation, It's not about what people see on the outside, but it's about your identity. It's about how you see yourself. And that's first, foremost, and the most important. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about how you speak to yourself. And it is about how you choose yourself every day. Because at the end of the day, that's what people actually feel. And I was just talking about that on the podcast that I recorded earlier today with an individual. And, extremely phenomenal lady. Like, you guys are going to have like so many different takeaways. Every time I talk to her, I learn so much and I'm just completely blown away. But we were talking about how, like, again, what people see on the outside, how you treat people, it's all a reflection of what's going on internally. And then even with somebody, she's a philosopher, I can't even get my words. She is a professor, a philosopher professor at a university out in LA. And she was just talking about like its character. Like, character speaks volumes. And again, that comes from who you are on the inside, how much you've healed, how much you've self reflected. So just think about that for a second. The next point, point number 3, I wanted to make, are the little girls watching the real and not just the wins. And whether we realize it or not, there are little girls watching us. Maybe it could be our daughters, nieces, little cousins, or even just girls who come across your content online, your presence, your energy. And they're not just watching your wins, they're watching how you handle stress. They're watching how you talk about your life. They're watching how you move through hard seasons and then how you bounce back. They're learning what it looks like to be a woman through you. Just like when we were younger, whoever you might have looked to as like a role model, it's the same thing, except now we're in a position where we are paying it forward. Now, the little girls, the teenage girls, we're bringing them forward with us because now we're the example. So it's important that when you post this content, like for me, and I always say this, Instagram posts like the highlight reels. They post the aesthetic pictures, everything, perfectly placed. I feel like TikTok, on the other hand, gives you that behind the scenes. Like, and it gives you a sense of security and community that it's okay. That while stuff may look picture perfect in that moment, that's not 100% reality. 100% reality is sometimes as a mom, we have duties and we're always working, right? So sometimes, even though we're still working and we have a lot to do, we have to take these moments for ourselves. So there's times, like, and I can speak on me personally, where I only give myself like 10 minutes to have a breakdown in the shower while I'm showering and just completely bawling my eyes out. But when I get out that shower, it's like now I got to be on go mode because now I have kids that rely on me to bring my A game at all times. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that behind the scenes. Like, yeah, you can get through whatever obstacle you want to, and I have your back. Like, you have a support system in me, and I'm sure you have it with other people around you. But at the end of the day, we have moments where we just don't feel like doing anything, right? And so I feel like it's important to also communicate those moments too. So when other people have those moments, because we all do, they know that it's normal. They aren't ashamed for the way they feel. Okay. So, point number 4, before I go off on like a complete tangent, is we're not here to be perfect. Again, we are here to be real. And again, this is why I feel like a lot of us hesitate. And I touched on it just a little bit because I was over there running my mouth. But we have to think we have it all together before we can be an example. And that's not true. We can still figure it out and still be able to elevate somebody. Even though we aren't where we want to be yet, because I know I'm not, I know that I can still make an impact on the level that I am at. And no one ever has everything in place. Billionaires never have everything in place. I was just looking at Cardi B on TikTok, and she was giving like some morning motivation or whatever yesterday morning. And she was just saying like there's times that she's depressed. There's times that she don't want to get out the bed. And she's pulling in $1 to $2 million a month, but at the end of the day, she's still human. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we got to be real with ourselves. Perfection is not what inspires people. It's the honesty. It's letting you know that you can mess up, but you can still make something of yourself and you can still be okay. Right. So seeing someone fall and get back up, that's huge because that's realistic. Seeing people struggle, but they keep going, they keep waking up because they have a purpose. They understand that what current season they're in right now is not going to be the season that lasts forever. Feeling unsure, feeling scared, and still showing up. Like that's what makes someone say, like, okay, I can do this too. That's what gives people hope. Okay. Point number 5 that I wanted to make is we show the process, not just the outcome. Again, I don't want to ever be the type of woman that people look at and be like, oh, she just woke up like that. Oh, she got her stuff together. No, because that doesn't help anybody because it's not realistic. Again, I want people to see the behind the scenes, the rebuilding, the moments where I doubted myself, the moments where I didn't have it all figured out, the moments where the money wasn't coming in as an entrepreneur, the moments that I felt like I didn't know where to turn. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be a burden on other people. That real stuff, that makes the journey feel real. And that's the part that makes it all feel attainable. Okay? Point number 6 is expanding what's possible for the next generation. So again, when a little girl can look at you and say, I want to be just like her, that's bigger than a compliment. You know what I'm saying? That's impact because now her standards are shifting. Her mindset is expanding and her vision is getting bigger. Now she's not just thinking about surviving life. She's thinking about creating one. And again, she's not creating one off your highlight reel. She's creating one off the real and authentic you. The obstacles you, the struggles you, the things that made you into the character and the person that you are today. She's looking at that. Okay? So, point number 7, you can still be becoming and be the example. And so this is huge because I really want this one to land with you guys. You don't have to arrive to be that woman. You don't have to have everything figured out. You do not have to be perfect because perfection does not exist. Okay. You can still have those hard days. You can still feel overwhelmed. You can still question things and you can still be in the middle of your process. And with all that, you can still be someone worth looking up to because growth is the example. Consistency is the example. Choosing not to give up is the example. Okay. So when I really sit with it, it's really not about pressure. It's not about feeling like you have to perform or to be perfect, but it's about awareness. And that's something that I talk to y'all about all the time, especially on my TikTok. We have to be aware. We have to self reflect because it's about realizing that your life, your choices, and your growth, it doesn't just impact you. It reaches further than you think. And I tell you guys this all the time. When you understand and really realize that your purpose on earth is so much more bigger than you, that if you have these selfish acts or selfish moments where you don't want to show up because you're just not in the mood, you really can be affecting the outcome of someone else's life who would have heard that message or who would have, you would have said, hey, how are you doing? And showed that you cared. Like it's the little things like that, guys, that makes the biggest difference. So at the same time, when you have these conversations and when you do this self-reflection, it heals you too. Because every time you choose better for you, you're also choosing better for the version of you that didn't always have that choice. Okay? So for me, this journey isn't just about becoming successful. It isn't just about building something, but it's about becoming a little bit more whole every day. It's about becoming a little bit more aligned every day. It's about becoming the kind of woman that the younger me would have looked at and said, I feel safe with her. She inspires me. She makes me feel seen. So, if you're listening to this right now and you feel like you're still figuring things out, I want you to hear me when I say this. You do not have to be finished to be powerful. You do not have to be perfect to be impactful. You just have to keep going. Keep showing up, ladies, because somewhere there's a little girl watching someone like you and thinking, I want to be just like her. So, thank you again so much for being here. Thank you for listening. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who may need this reminder. And as always, I'll talk to you all in the next episode. Happy Wednesday.